Hello, friends. Today we're going to talk about the most dangerous places to travel in a company. My name is Uri and I love to travel, but I also realize that there are places where the risks can be quite high. So today I'm going to tell you about some of them and give you some recommendations to help you stay safe while traveling. Let's start with Mexico. It's a wonderful country with its unique culture and unique sights, but it also poses a fairly high risk for tourists. The biggest dangers are street gangs that can commit assaults and kidnappings, drugs and other forms of crime. Therefore, I recommend following safety rules, such as not wearing expensive jewelry and money, not walking on dark streets in unfamiliar places, not leaving things unattended, and using the services of local guides or tour operators who are experienced in safe travel. There is also a risk of crime in Mexico, as well as drug trafficking and gang wars between drug cartels. Some cities in the north and south of the country, such as Tijuana, Cancun, and Acapulco, are particularly dangerous. If you are planning a vacation in Mexico, you should follow safety rules, avoid certain areas, and travel only in a group or with a professional guide. The next place is occupied by the Middle East. This is a region with major political conflicts and terrorist threats. If you are planning to travel to this region, you should be well prepared and follow the safety rules. I recommend that you familiarize yourself with the situation in the country in advance and not choose places with a large concentration of people. In addition, you should keep in mind that the Middle East has some habits and restrictions. There are some countries in the Middle East where having a passport with an Israeli visa can be a reason for refusal of entry. Also, in some countries there are restrictions on clothing. In particular, women must cover their hair and body. In certain places, there may be restrictions on the use of alcohol and tobacco, as well as on visiting religious shrines. Despite these restrictions and threats, the Middle East has many places worth visiting, including cultural and historical sites that can fascinate with their beauty and ancient traditions. But, as in any place, you should be very careful, follow safety rules and not risk your life and health. It is also important to keep in mind that some countries in the Middle East have alcohol restrictions and national laws that may differ from European ones. Therefore, before traveling to the Middle East, you should carefully research local laws and cultural norms. If you are planning to travel to the Middle East, I recommend that you take an anti-disease product with you, as there are certain risks of diseases such as hepatitis, malaria and other infectious diseases in this region. Also, you should follow the rules of road safety, especially if you decide to rent a car and travel on your own. In addition, if you plan to visit places with a large concentration of people, such as markets or streets with many retail outlets, you should be especially careful to keep money and valuables in a safe place and avoid any suspicious people or their associates. Let's talk about Central America and the southern part of North America, in particular countries like Honduras, Guatemala, El Salvador, and Mexico. These countries have high levels of crime and street violence. Drug trafficking, armed conflicts, and war between drug cartels pose a significant risk to tourists. In addition, theft, property crimes, kidnapping, and other similar risks can occur in these countries. In cities such as San Salvador, Guatemala City, Tegucigalpa, and Karachi, there are some neighborhoods that are dangerous for tourists and locals. These areas have a bad reputation and should be avoided. If you are still planning to visit these countries, it is recommended to be well prepared and follow safety rules. Don't show off your wealth, don't wear jewelry or expensive items, don't walk in dangerous areas at night, and avoid getting involved in military and political conflicts. Each country may have its own security peculiarities, so before visiting any country, you should research the situation in that country and prepare for possible risks in advance. Central America and the southern part of North America can be dangerous for tourists due to crime and drug trafficking. In countries such as Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador, the crime rate is high, and tourists can become victims of robbery, kidnapping, or even violence. Therefore, if you are planning to travel to these countries, you should be well prepared and follow safety rules. I recommend sticking to known routes and not traveling alone in certain areas where the crime rate is particularly high. Despite these dangers, Central America and the southern part of North America offer great places to visit, such as jungles, beaches, and historical sites. If you are well prepared and follow the safety rules, you can enjoy the beauty of these countries and their culture. Let's focus on a country that may not be the first choice for many travelers, India. India is a country that attracts with its culture, history and cuisine, but it can also be dangerous for travelers. One of the main dangers for tourists in India is crime. Women traveling alone are particularly at risk. Visitors to areas with a high concentration of people, such as city markets, should be especially careful and protect their personal belongings. In addition, tourists may encounter local scammers who try to deceive or swindle them out of money. Another danger is health. India has a high incidence of diseases such as dengue, malaria, and hepatitis, so you should be especially careful with food and water. Vaccination against diseases that may be present in this country is also recommended for traveling to India. However, despite this, India is a country worth visiting. If you are planning a trip to India, you should follow the safety rules, prepare well, and familiarize yourself with the culture and traditions of the country. One of the most dangerous cities in India is Mumbai, where crime is quite high. In this city, you should never leave your belongings unattended, especially in public transportation and on the street. Also, the area of Mumbai known as Dharavi is the largest and most densely populated place in Asia, where crime is very high. You should be especially careful in this area, and it is better to avoid it. Another dangerous city is Delhi, where crime is quite high, especially at night and on the outskirts of the city. Attacks on tourists are not uncommon here, so you should be very vigilant. In addition, Varanasi is also a city where tourists should be careful. In this city, you can encounter crime as well as corruption. Therefore, if you are planning to travel to Varanasi, you need to be very careful and take only the necessary things with you. In any city in India that you plan to visit, it is important to follow the safety rules and not attract unnecessary attention. And yes, we've covered just a few of the most dangerous places to travel, but this is not a complete list. In fact, every country and city has its own risks and threats, and before traveling, you should familiarize yourself with the situation in the country and follow the safety rules. May your travels be memorable and safe. Thank you for watching and see you in the next video.